That's enough of that. Hello, welcome to Homework. Thanks to Malcolm Wright for the theme tune. Not that one, that was by Goblin, and you'll see why that's relevant a bit later on. But he's basically like a one-man goblin. That's the most terrifying theme we've had for Homework yet, and probably for some time to come. But yeah, keep those ones coming to explosivealanproductions@gmail.com. We also received a very nice present from Peter Summers. He sent us 16 bottles of assorted ales, lagers and ciders.
I love you, Peter Summers.
We love you, Peter Summers.
We've been drinking your drinks.
We are. I'm drinking Honker's Ale.
I was drinking a cider from Cornwall, which is particularly potent.
Is it already having its effect on you?
Yes.
And what are you drinking?
Something with berries in it. It's red flavoured.
That's red flavour.
That's the same cider,
Yeah.
but it's red flavour.
Oh,
Red
it's super
is the
powdered, isn't
flavour.
it? Well, look forward to this.
Anyway,
Snakebite. No, that's not right.
no. Snakebite is
Cider and beer.
Cider and beer,
a
isn't
little
it?
bit of blackcurrant. Half and half. Used to be a
Pro.
bartender.
She knows. It used to be a bartender, it used to be a lush. Right. Now, in return, he didn't want anything in return, which is the craziest, but I pushed him, and he's launching a blog soon, which is called A Pint of Pixels. It's a pintofpixels.blogspot.co.uk, and he's actually after some inspiration to get him going on the site. He's trying to match games with beers. So if you drop him a line at Pete Pixelated, which is no doubt flashing up before my eyes right now, get in touch and give him a hand, because he definitely deserves it. Right. This episode we are tapping into the darkest recesses of the human mind as we explore the world of fear. Is he man, or merely the human form of the chest-hair demon Zorbos? Either way, it's Gareth Wild. Some call her Lilith, stranglers of newborns. Others just call her Aoife, because that's actually her name.
Yeah, it works.
There you go. Aoife, thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Cool. So, we've had a lot of suggestions for this episode, actually. We seem to be getting more as they roll on, which is always a good sign. Some honourable mentions go to Daniel Cedric Moore and Isaac Mulcahy for suggesting Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which have you played that?
Yeah.
I got it on the Steam sale,
Yeah.
and it's almost, if not more terrifying than the game we actually ended up selecting. Jonathan Meeklin, who went with both versions of The Wicker Man, one because it's scary, and one because the acting's scary. The bees! That bit. Not the bees!
I didn't know you did Nicolas Cage.
I don't.
Yeah.
There you go.
I thought that was obvious. Louise Charlton suggested for the challenge that we should wrestle a bear. Obviously confusing the theme fear with suicide.
Yeah.
And James Cannell suggested a movie called The Taint. And I looked at the trailer for this, and it just looks like it shouldn't be watched by anyone ever, under any circumstances. Don't even look at the trailer. It's
What are we talking
it's the
about
worst
here?
thing I've ever seen. Even the trailer alone.
Is it another Nicolas Cage film then?
No, it's worse than The Wicker Man and Drive Angry combined, and both Ghost Riders.
Drive Wicker.
No, it's honestly. Don't even look. Don't even bother looking. Right, let's move on to our first task, which is Slender. So, Slender was suggested by Matthew Jones first, but subsequently by the Xfox UK, Kevin Dimmig, and Greg Dunstan Colbeck. I was really angling for this to be the game of choice. No, I haven't played anything more terrifying in my life, frankly.
Just thinking about it, yeah.
It's based. Well, let's talk about what it's based on. So there's this whole internet phenomenon of what they call creepypasta.
I love that phrase. I love it so much.
And that's kind of derived from copypasta,
Yeah.
which are things that are, frequently copy and paste into emails. Creepypasta is the same, but with kind of freaky photography and ghost stories. And a site that many of you will be aware of called Something Awful ran a competition to kind of create a new myth, a new creepypasta. And the most popular was the Slender Man, who's a figure that appears in
the background of like lots of photos. Like I think it started off with there was a lot of photoshops of him appearing in like sort of black and white photos and stuff. And yeah, pretty creepy.
Yeah, and that spawned a number of shows, kind of video projects, didn't it? I think the most famous one is Marble Hornets, which is like a series of found footage clips that you can get on YouTube, serialized over more than 60 episodes now. And there's kind of there's a kind of a story arc that's happening within that, where this other kind
It's
of
been
unknown
going on for a really long time.
yeah,
as
years
well.
now.
Yeah.
I think it's like 4 series or something. And there's is it To the Ark?
Yeah.
They post really trippy things with secret codes in binary and things.
It's kind of fascinating though as well, because it's essentially an urban legend that's been born on the internet, but the more you research it, which is it kind of like like an art imitates life kind of thing. So they say like the more you research him, the more he becomes interested in you, and then there's like posts by real people, and then it all kind of blurs together, which makes it kind of fascinating.
And it is genuinely unnerving initially. You think,
Yeah.
well, you know full well in your head that someone on Something Awful's
Has made
forums
that, yeah.
created that, but the speed with which they've built the kind of mythos around it is
Well, that's the
fascinating.
beauty. If you have a hive mind, you can create enough things to keep people reading, keep people guessing, and that's exactly what's happened here. You
Yeah.
know, that sort of hive collective, and as such, nobody knows the entire story
Yeah.
because there's always new things being built.
There's
written
Yeah.
or created.
Or where it came from, because
Yeah.
it all sort of spawns from different places,
Yeah.
and it all sort of pulls together to form the beast.
Which is precisely how legends
Yeah.
and myths are formed.
Yeah,
We're actually
absolutely.
witnessing it in the making,
Which is
aren't
kind
we?
of fascinating, because you'd think that sort of stuff died out when, word of mouth, kind of, telling ghost stories by the fire ended, but it's kind of like... a
Turns out
new
the
sort of
internet's
evolution.
perfect for that
Yeah,
stuff.
you
Yeah.
would have thought it would have killed it off, which is kind of fascinating, but it's still going, no?
So there you go. So that's where it was born from. Now, Parsec Productions decided to make a game of this, and the premise is super simple. Basically, you're an unknown protagonist in a wood, and you've got to find 8 notes around that wood. And after you've collected the first one, Slender Man comes a calling.
Yeah, but on top of that, you are the slowest man on earth.
It's a woman, actually.
Oh,
If
it's-
when you
okay.
run, you get out of breath. It's a
Right,
woman.
okay, well, I didn't
Yeah.
manage to run. I got to slightly faster walk.
Dips
Well,
towards
dip
yeah,
the torch, turn the
Dip
torch
the
off.
torch. So how do you run? Because I was holding shift
Shift, yeah, it should be just
That
shift.
doesn't-
Shift
that's-
and
no,
shift
that's
and
just-
forward, shift and W.
ever so slightly faster walk. Or walk
Maybe
with
it's
lights
not, it's
down.
not exactly a sprint. Maybe if the light's down, then you are sprinting.
If I was being chased by
Yeah.
Slender Man, I'd be
You'd
a
be
lot
running a
quicker
hell of a
than
lot
that.
faster than that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But I think the game deliberately does everything in its power to make you feel
Well,
as
you're meant
powerless
to
and
be,
useless
you're
as
meant
possible.
to be completely vulnerable.
And he is a completely unpredictable antagonist as well.
Git.
So Git is another one. You can't spell antagonist without Git.
Wait a minute. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. thinking on my green feet there. And so I think the more pages you collect, the more that the sound builds up as well. There's a
Yeah.
soundscape that really generates that fear of dread as well.
Any real horror, it's all about the music, and it's like, yeah, it's sort of this cumulative effect. You get, I think, maybe to the 3rd page, or no, after the 1st page, it's like the drums start,
Yeah.
and then the 3rd page, it's like layered. It all sort of adds, and then by the 7th page, you're wrecking it like so badly. It's
You got
like,
to the 7th page?
no, I watched people get because I couldn't
Yeah,
do it
it's like-
myself.
it's like- yeah.
I got to the 5th page twice, but I didn't actually get that far.
Talking of which, before we go any further, let's show a quick clip of Gareth playing Slender.
Collect all 8 pages, they said. Fun it will be, they said. Oh shit! Oh no! He doesn't like me, he's not happy. Oh, he's right by me. Oh, poor babe. Ah! You son of... Oh, fuck off! Jesus Christ! Try again. No. I was so scared that a large portion of my facial hair actually fell out. it just left me. I thought it would go grey, but
no,
no.
just
No.
was like trying to get out of there before Slender Man turned up.
Yeah, they were running faster than little fucking Hoppy McSlowfeet. Jesus.
You just look down, there's just a circle of iron filings around you.
Yeah.
Amazing. So,
Where did you go into the bathroom place? Because that was the
Well,
worst.
okay,
I couldn't
so
even
we
approach that.
yeah we made
No.
I made some textbook errors. I did outside pages first, and then cornered myself in the room.
so that's when he starts teleporting.
That's horrific.
Yeah.
Like
What
just turning these
bastard.
corners.
Yeah.
And the little wall that's like basically across that you kind of like have to go around the corners like facing inwards.
I was doing a lot of wide edging around
Yeah.
things.
It's, ooh.
So, friend of the show, Christian Frankis, said, it goes to show that you don't need complex storylines or a big budget to scare the shit out of someone.
I don't think you ever need complex storylines. I mean, if that game proves anything, it's that simplicity in horror is just the key to getting the best scares out of people.
Well, yeah, you've got to tap into the primal the primal fear, and that's what that game does. Things like, a lot of people, when they suggest the games were coming up with Silent Hill and Dead Space and saying they were terrifying, like, at no point in Dead Space was I particularly scared. There may be like one jump here and there.
That's all about jumps, though. I think that the thing that Slender really does is what they call fridge horror. So it's horror after the fact. So when you finished and you walked away from the game, it comes back to you, and that's when you're like checking the shadows and
Fridge horror.
Yeah.
My dreams that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It was genuinely
essentially
like
what it
walking
is.
around your house suddenly becomes a lot more scary.
Yeah, and then you're like, I better just turn on these lights. It's not because I'm scared, it's just because I'm gonna have a
I don't want to trip over that thing that I remember.
But even walking past windows and things, I
Yeah.
don't want to see anything just stood there. Yeah, and that's what it taps into. It's that whole, as you say, like even before that game, I've always got that thing where even at night, I'm kind of closing the blinds, and if I go up to the window and twiddle it, I just hope that something's just not going to pop up. And
I'm going to come round and do that to you.
And you live very close as well, so that's a very real possibility.
But I think it's kind of...
Sorry.
It's got that sort of polarising effect, though. Like, some people I've seen from comments on videos aren't scared by it in the slightest, and they can't understand why people would be scared by it. But as someone with probably an overactive imagination, you're filling in the gaps wherever you can. So you're actually scaring yourself, which is why I turned it off. Because before I even saw him, I was like, no, I can't do this. I'm way too scared.
Because the Slender Man himself isn't a particularly scary looking...
Not at all. He has a potato for a head. It's not scary at all.
Big like...
He's like,
inflatable tube
with a
man.
tentacle, way inflatable arm tube man,
But
and
it's scary enough to, I don't know, just the prison, because he's I don't know.
The static doesn't help.
The static
but not only that, his movement, like he's there and then suddenly he's right in your face.
But it's that sort of, I mean, the most sort of fundamental thing about horror is you fear what you don't understand and you fear what you don't know. So like, you know nothing about him, you know nothing about where you are, so you're going to be pretty terrified and you've nothing to defend yourself with. So.
Absolutely. If you haven't played Slender yet, and I strongly recommend you do, and I strongly recommend you do it on your own with a big pair of headphones on, over the ears, crank up the volume. Lights off. Get it from the address that's on screen right now. I was going to say you won't regret it, but you probably deeply will, and so will your dry cleaner. Okay, so let's move on to the film, which is Suspiria. You're breaking my heart. Yeah, I've got our friend Rob Knight to thank for that, because that's what he thinks every time he sees the name Suspiria. So, this was suggested by 2003 Jack B, the rhyming YouTube contributor. Suspiria, I must admit that Dario Argento is a bit of a gap in my cinematic knowledge. I think this is actually the first Argento movie I've ever seen. And I wasn't disappointed. I think you were. A little bit. What about you?
We see, I'm a geek for the whole cinematography of things, and that appealed to me enough to actually carry the bad points. I can see there's a lot of bad points in it, but there's some really great stuff in there.
The lighting rig is inspired by
bit of green, bit of red.
Bit of
primary
red.
colours.
So many primary colours, and kind of used more in a symbolic way throughout the movie. I mean, it's a very art house take on horror, really, isn't it?
Which was exactly my problem with it. I mean, if it's, and it looks beautiful, I can completely appreciate, like, I mean, I'm a film grad, like, I know good cinematography when I see it, but I don't think that has any place in a horror film. If you're going, then you're not going, and that's, to me, that's what a horror film is for.
Do you think the horror film always has to be about, and not more about dread?
Yes, but that film did not fill me with dread.
No?
It filled me with, why is she going there? What are they doing this for? I don't understand. Why?
This was the 70s.
I know, but come on,
This is
the
the pre-screen horror era.
There were loads of elements of it though, which still there was still a lot of dread in there.
I didn't.
Like there was some great classic characters that you see. The the head sort of mistress, I suppose you'd call her. She was a classic evil bitch. It was almost like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes, right, yeah, Nurse Ratchet.
Yeah,
totally.
Nurse Ratchet
I could
style.
definitely see something in that.
She had that sort of evil in her teeth as well. That sort of.
I don't know. I think I just had that much contempt for the main character that I didn't really know what happened to her. I have to say, like, I mean, it was just
strange delivery?
I think it was the fact. I mean, at the very start, when that teacher went, she was like, I don't want to stay in that room, and the teacher was like, I see you stuck up for yourself. It's like she didn't. She just went, and it's like that. That's being
she was very meek.
She's very meek, and they were like, well, you're a little bit of a firecracker, aren't you? Like,
the script didn't
been said before.
But no, I think it's just like, I mean, Sarah's scene, like, it was just. I mean, for starters, like.
Is this the razor wire?
Why? I don't understand. Like, I mean, it's like, if you're going to fall into a pit of barbed wire, which, why it's there, we'll never know. I mean, don't shake yourself around. It's not, drop and roll is not the appropriate response, really, is it? Like,
just to confirm, so you don't have a room filled with razor wire at home?
I did, but we had to clear it out for the flaming pit room.
Right, you are.
So, yeah.
That hasn't caught on South East yet. South East London, we're still going with razor wire. Yeah, all right. Let's rewind a bit. I mean, what is Suspiria? It's a tale of an American ballerina that comes over to a European country.
It's somewhere near
Is it German?
It is Germany.
Freiburg is the city.
That's right, because the dead giveaway is when all the guys are dancing on the tables in the bar.
Oh yeah, that's right, and they're like mock fighting with each other.
Actually, the giveaway is the taxi driver at the beginning, who is an ignorant fuck.
Yeah,
she says
about half an hour.
Yeah, she says quite clearly the street that she wants to go to. Any German person would understand that. Yeah, I want to go here. I want to go here.
Very good
burp. And it takes her to get out a map and to show him, and he repeats back to her
exactly what she said. But the thing is, everyone has had that experience.
Yeah.
Everyone has had that experience. Yes. And anyway, so she goes to this ballet school, which isn't all it seems. No. And very rapidly things just get astonishingly weird.
Yeah,
and
the body count goes up quite considerably in the short time that she's
Do you know what, that is the biggest thing for me, because I did enjoy the film, I quite liked it. I mean, there was plenty of things wrong, but the biggest thing wrong was that with all horror films, it seems, you have to have a level of ignorance and naivety, where like all this shit had happened, and at the end, and she still didn't get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, no, I know.
Why when presented with the opportunity to leave, would you just not like,
I think that was my fundamental problem with it. Like, I'm applying logic where obviously logic just doesn't have a place. I mean, as you say, it's more of an art house film, it's more surrealist, and a lot of it's very metaphorical, and I'm just like, why aren't you, getting on the nearest, like, the next taxi out of there? Like,
I saw a comment from a critic who said, it only makes sense to the eye.
Well,
that's
right. It's absolutely that. I mean, it's, visual and audio come first, character and story come way behind that.
Talking of audio, okay.
Oh god.
So Jason Stiff, or Jason Scared Stiff, as I've called him,
nice.
Said that the music is stellar. Goblin does a great job of being awesome and awful at the same time, and he's backed up by Substance 2D and Bloify on Twitter, who both say, Bloify says it sounds like something out of Castlevania.
I
wish it sounded like something out of Castlevania.
No, I'm 100% with this guy. The music was brilliant. It was just fantastic.
That repeated chime audio signature, ding 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 ding. It just goes on.
Almost like a music box, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A little ballerina music box.
And then with an Italian singer going over the top.
The only problem with that was, of course, that is what the audience is hearing, but it was almost sort of implied that is kind of what was happening in the scene. It was that there was a confusion between that sort of disembodied go for that between that and what was actually happening. So I think in some ways
sounds like these were sung by a guy in a brown Mac.
Yeah, definitely. He was there.
Fortunately, with the Blues Brothers, everyone bloody loved it. With this, it's really kind of divided the community. So, John Dowds, who's very active on our Facebook page, gave it a hugely negative critique, basically bemoaning the music, the lighting, the effects, Yeah, basically, he just hated everything about the movie.
Those aren't the valid points for hating it. The points for hating it are the shite.
Do you not agree with the fact that he says it sucks balls, big hairy donkey balls?
No, not at all. No, I'm all of those things that he listed.
I can
I'd
understand
say
why you'd say it. It's just that if you're going into it expecting a horror film and expecting to be scared, then you're going to be disappointed.
So we're kind of somewhere in the middle with Suspiria. I don't think. I think so. You don't necessarily hate it as a movie, but you think it fails at what it's fundamentally supposed to do.
Yes, pretty much. I mean, I admire the cinematography. I think there's certain compositions of shots that are absolutely beautiful, but as a horror film, no. Wanton animal cruelty, mostly, is the most shocking part about it.
Oh, when she crushes the bat to death?
She crushes the bat with the stool. That is shocking. I was quite...
I thought the bat was quite good, though, the way it was kind of gnashing away at her.
It was like a little fluffy ball on the
yeah,
string.
and then it was on the floor again.
He was rubbish.
That's the worst actor in it.
Yeah. The guy with the string deserved to be fired.
He probably was.
What about the guy with the fake teeth?
Yeah.
He was amazing. He had gingivitis, now he's got false teeth. He's just going, oh no, I'm a simple Ukrainian. He's also a witch. Okay, let's move on. Let's not ruin the ending, because if you haven't seen it, the ending is quite magnificent as well.
Oh yeah, we didn't even touch on that.
We didn't even touch the ending, because it's magnificent and has an exploding porcelain panther. So...
Well, what? I said not to ruin it, man.
That's it, it's exploding porcelain panther, roll credits.
Yeah.
No, okay, so that was Suspiria. Now, on to the challenge. So we finish, as ever, with the challenge, and this one comes from John Stepto, or John Stepto, not sure which, who suggested that we try and spook each other out by telling ghost stories. I think, Gareth, you're going to go first with a little true one, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not going to go first as such, because I'm not going to tell a ghost story. I'm just going to tell something that happened, and then I'm going to judge your ghost stories, because it seems like you've gone some effort.
I think we've both gone some effort.
So I feel better as a judge, and I'll just tell you a very short thing which happened when I was walking home one night with some friends. No, so we were walking home one night. it's not
way to destroy the tension.
Nothing ghostly about the night, apart from the fact it was Halloween.
Ooh.
It wasn't. We were walking home from a night of lounging around. It was a long, hot summer's evening, much like this evening. And no, all that happened was we walked past this car, and there was a girl in a white dress, and she looked like she was asleep in this car, but there was no reason why a girl in a perfect white dress should be asleep in this car at that time. It was like, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning, and she was just asleep there, perfectly quiet and still. And it freaked us out a little bit, so we walked down the road. And then, when we plucked up a bit of courage, we walked back to see if it was. We were going to knock on the window, see if she was alright. We walked back, and she'd gone. And we hadn't really sort of walked out of sight. We would have heard a door slam or something like that. Walked back, and she was gone. And we were really quite scared. So we all ran away like little teenage boys.
Weirdly, there's a little of that in common with my story, which is,
really?
even though I've dramatised it slightly, is also true.
Did you grow up around Gosport?
Gosport by way of Wolverhampton.
Right, okay, well.
She travels.
Bitch. Hussy. How dare you leave me, woman, ghostly woman. Right, so anyway, on to your... who's going first?
I think... I was going to say coin toss, but it was nothing so civil, it was just you first.
You're doing it.
I feel kind of bad, because mine's kind of serious.
No, that's good.
No, that's good. You have
Alright.
to genuinely unsettle people.
Okay. My story is called The Sixth Floor. Where I grew up, beauty was scarce. Nature had been trampled by filthy, run-down concrete boxes. A chippy here, a betting shop there. All of it loomed in the depressing shadows cast by block after grey, ugly block of flats. I lived in one of those grimy towers once, the only son of a single mother, with nothing to occupy my time but to gaze out of the window at the procession of toy cars below. One night, as my mom dozed in front of the electric heater, the monotony was broken by a little girl I saw entering my block. She was too young to be alone at the time, at least I thought so, and wearing a petite dress that billowed violently in the calm summer wind. I think what bothered me most was that she was shoeless. I'd known the pavement to be littered with shards of broken beer bottles, dog shit, and worse. But there she was, calmly stepping, gliding almost, into the block. I immediately wanted to befriend her, an alien instinct as I was a shy, unsociable child, but she was different. I knew I couldn't help or protect her from whatever or whomever had allowed her to end up in this state. But perhaps just the knowledge that she had someone who cared for her would be of some comfort. Tomorrow, I thought. Tomorrow I'll see if she wants to be friends. I didn't know what flat she lived in though, so I had to be clever. I'd take up my usual post at the window, wait for her to come in, and then race to the lift so that I could orchestrate an accidental meeting. Perfect. Now all I had to do was wait. It was a week to the day that I first saw her that she returned. Same dress, same bare feet, even the same time. I immediately dashed to the front door, flung it open and ran to the lift. The lift hadn't shifted. I'd made it. I jabbed and jabbed at the call button, desperate to beat her to the punch, praying she wouldn't take the stairs out of frustration. Success. The lift, a tiny metal box barely big enough for two, jolted into action and shuddered its way earthward. I realised I was shaking with a mixture of anticipation and dread. What if she didn't like me? What would I say? What if... Thump. Touchdown. The clumsy descent over, I had time to peek through the single strip of glass masquerading as a window before the doors stuttered open. No one there. She'd taken the stairs. Deflated, I allowed the doors to close again and glumly poked the number 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Darkness. The ascent halted violently, almost knocked me off my feet. I hated the dark, especially in a confined space 20 metres above the ground, so I did what I always did in times of fear and worry. I wept. It was a snivelling, snotty ball, gulps of air, inhaled mucus and smeared tears. This wretched display of self-pity was disturbed as I realised that I could feel something touch me lightly on the back of my neck, stunning me into silence. I then breathed as what felt like fingers tightened their grip. What initially felt like a reassuring gesture became uncomfortably firm, each tiny spindle pushing harder and harder into my skin, grasping at bone and muscle, squeezing and twisting them together to agonizing effect. The pain burned hot, but I was frozen, paralyzed with terror, unable to utter a sound. I felt myself losing consciousness, my body's way of escaping the torment, but before I could fade away, a whispered voice drifted into my left ear. Let's be friends. Playful, shrill laughter echoed around me. The hand slowly released its grip, and the slap of bare footsteps on concrete grew ever distant as the lights flickered back to life and the light groaned back into action. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I clawed at the door, slipping through before they could fully open, and dashed back to home, back to safety. My mum greeted me at the door with the expected mix of fury and relief. I offered no explanation and gently slipped into bed. I kept watch of that little girl in the weeks that preceded us moving out to our first home, and sure enough, she appeared in the same place, in the same outfit, at the same time. But I wasn't interested in becoming friends with her anymore. To this day, I still don't know what happened on the 6th floor, but I'll always have the red mark on the back of my neck to remind me that I should never find out. The end.
This is Internet Horror Story. It's a terrifying, cautionary tale about butchery, savagery, and murderous emoticons. The victim, an innocent, a friend, a servant of the people. On that fateful night, English language went for a stroll, reciting Shakespearean sonnets and the proper use of there, and they are. Little did he know that these grammatically correct times were growing short. All of a sudden, English language grew aware of a figure skulking in the dark. He was hard to make out amidst all the porn and cat videos, but English language sensed that he recognized him and called out. Internet? Is that you? Yes, came the reply. His voice grated the senses, a guttural, trollish lowing, mixed with the sound of 1,000 indignant teenage boys crying out about something that was completely irrelevant. He moved closer, and English language was afraid. He could see the steely glint in Internet's eyes and the keen twitch of his what's-it-dusted fingers. "Your time is over, old friend." English language recoiled in horror, sensing his fate. "Please, no. Spare a thought for spelling and syntax. Kill me, and you kill them too." But Internet was merciless, and without a moment's hesitation, he began brutally butchering his hapless victim. He gleefully stripped away the difference between you, your, and you are, made gross and improper use of the semicolon, poking his Facebook relentlessly as he went. He hacked away any traces of capitalization and punctuation, tore his victim apart with vile barbarations like thanks and tomorrow, and in one final violent act, performed a complete, horrific disinviolment. A-E-I-O-U! Screamed English language in his death throes. Internet didn't stop until English language was a hideous mockery, an abomination of his former self, chopped precisely into 140 characters. And as a final insult, his hands stained a deep, dark Reddit. Internet took an Instagram of the crime scene and uploaded it for all to see. His evil work done, Internet disappeared, back into the shadows from whence he came, echoing cruelly across the forums as he went. LOL, LOL, LOL. By the time anyone could connect him to the crime, he was gone. He was traced to all of his usual haunts, but at every turn, all the authorities were met with was an error message. 404, file not found. To end.
So two very different spooky stories. They're both based on fact, though. Oh, look back a minute. Have I got it?
Shit.
Spooky.
True. So, Gareth, you are the adjudicator for this particular one.
Did you just try and sway my vote?
He did, didn't he? But then I did say that mine was based on reading creepypasta and being completely horrified by all the bad...
So your story was effectively fact.
Effectively, yeah. That's
Effectively.
pretty much
Effectively.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Allegorical.
It's a very, very difficult one to judge because they're both very good.
Can we have draws?
No, I don't want to do a draw because I hate draws. Like it's, you know, I like to get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Who's that? You know, fuck it. No, it's a draw.
Yay!
They're fantastic.
Yes.
For very different reasons, though.
That's the kind of result I can buy into. Nice one. Cool. Right. Aoife, do you have anything that you would like to plug before I sign out?
Well, not really at the moment. I have some projects that I'm working on. I'm working on a comic book sort of based thing, or themed thing. And I've also got a new blog, but there's not really enough there at the minute to plug it. So maybe the next time I'm on here, I'll plug it. But
I'm still going to make the blog address flash up, I don't care. That's the kind of power I wield.
Can you give us a hint as to what the comic book's about?
Basically, I just love comic books and want to talk about them a lot. So that's hopefully going to happen in the near future once I get things sorted out. But until then, read more comic books, guys.
What would you recommend at the moment?
At the minute, I am reading Saga, which is fantastic, Fatale, which is amazing, and I think the new Batman arc is going to be really good. Scott Snyder's working on that, who also did Severed. He's fantastic, and he's going to be doing... The Joker's coming back to the New 52, which is going to be really exciting. So, yeah.
Oh, so this will be the first sighting of the Joker in the new kind of iterations of the DC universe.
He was sighted very, very briefly at the start, and he's disappeared because he had his face torn off. So if you want to see, it's going to be a very exciting take on the Joker when he comes back. So yeah, I think everyone should check that out.
Fantastic.
When it comes out in October. So.
I would like to plug our screening of Indie Gang the Movie, which is happening at the Empire Leicester Square on the 7th of August. Still plenty of tickets available. Thanks to Rob Knight at Empire for making that a reality. If you do want to get a ticket, follow the link that's on screen right now.
I'm going to go further and say, follow the link.
Follow. And we'll be there, of course, we'll be there too, so if you fancy watching the movie and having a pint with us afterwards, you are more than welcome to.
And I'm going to say further, Dan will buy you a drink.
And give you a hug.
No, hug is a guarantee.
Free hugs.
Free hugs. Free hugs. Although if I'm as sweaty as I am right now, that may not be a welcome thing. What else we got? Quick update on the Project Possum Perks. I have been working tirelessly trying to gather everyone who's donated above the $30 tier, trying to get the t-shirt sizes. I'm almost there, so once I've got all those, they'll be sent over to the Insert Coin t-shirt guys, and you'll get your Spanky tees hopefully within the month. We're working on all of the others too. I'm getting sketches in for the art right now, and the prints are looking incredible, and everything else is lining up too. So hold tight. We have given you an estimate of September. All being well, we'll get it in well before then. All that's left to say then is all the usual stuff. Don't forget to like us at www.facebook.com/explosivealanproductions. Follow us on Twitter at explosive_alan. And now you can actually download this show on iTunes if you tap homework into the search engine. So yes, go to iTunes, enter homework in the podcast area, and we should be the first thing that pops up right now because we've become very popular very, very quickly, and rightly so. So get downloading, subscribe, and yeah, hopefully we'll be seeing you on your phone very soon. And I think that's all. Aoife, thank you so much for joining us and for writing such an incredible
Thank you,
allegory of the internet's savagery on our fair language.
It's a tragedy that haunts me daily.
What is next week's theme?
What is next week's theme? Next week's theme, and Ash is going to be delighted to hear this, is time.
Yeah! Because what was it between?
It was between sport because of the Olympics. He's happy because so many people suggested sport. Nobody here except him really likes sport, boring, etc. We're going to go with time. I'd never said we were going to pick the one that was the most popular. I said we were going to pick the one that we could have the most fun with, and I think we're going to have the most fun with time. So as usual, we want a time-themed game, we want a time-themed movie, and some form of time-based challenge. That one's probably going to be quite tricky.
There's a clock in FIFA where it counts down. So that's time, right?
That works.
Get voting, guys.
Yeah,
No
FIFA 12. Tenuous. back to me. Don't give him the He just feeds his massive monster ego. That's it for yet another installment of Homework. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.